I'm talking to Samantha Houston, who's part of the Food Systems and Safety team of Clemson Extension. And you've got what looks like some very different Christmas gifts.
Yes, I do. So I am based out of Lexington County, and what I do is I teach food preservation courses, I teach food safety courses to people in our state as part of the Food Systems and Safety team. And today I brought a nice selection because around this time of year, everybody's kind of got one thing on their mind, and that is, what am I going to get that special someone for Christmas this year? So I thought it would be a great idea to share with everybody some different ideas. Nothing wrong against store-bought ideas. And if that's what that person wants, then that's what that person can get.
Well, I know I'm not going to get a diamond ring, so let's see what the alternatives are.
No. Hey, there's always hope. So here's an example of some homemade gifts that you can give. So these are canned goods. Some of these are dehydrated goods. Like this one right here is our dehydrated apple chips right here. This right here is an example of some parsley that has been dehydrated as well. And then of course you have your canned goods. You have your jellies, there's some peanuts right here, and then of course pickles as well.
And you said these are South Carolina grown peanuts.
These are South Carolina grown peanuts, yes. So these are examples that were made by one of our Master Food Preserver volunteers, which if you've never heard of our Master Food Preserver volunteer program, it's a program where people who they enjoy canning, they enjoy food preservation, can go out into their community with us with Clemson and teach and talk to people about food preservation. And what I want to talk about is if you want to give these gifts to people, there's a couple of things you need to be aware of first off. Because nobody wants to give, in the season of giving, nobody wants to give something
tainted food.
Tainted food, exactly. Something that's going to make people sick. So you want to make sure that when you're giving these food items to people, that you're giving them items that you use safe recipes for. Now, when I say safe recipes, I'm talking about recipes that have been tested to make sure that they are safe. And these recipes you can find multiple places. You can find them on our own Home and Garden Information Center. You can find them on Ball. You can find them on the National Center for Home Food Preservation. So you can do a search on our own HGIC website, and like if you're looking for canning tomatoes, you can do HGIC canning tomatoes.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah, it's very super easy. And we also have, if you know, we have fact sheets on there, which a lot of these fact sheets have recipes on them. As a matter of fact, we have a fact sheet on there that talks about canning gifts, which is kind of what we're going to be talking about today. So you can do a search for HGIC canning gifts, and it'll bring you right up to it with recipes, including a spicy cranberry salsa recipe that we can use, that you can give as gifts. When you receive gifts for these canned goods, it's not bad for you to ask some questions. Right? Because, you know, we don't want to sit there and question and sound ungrateful for the gift.
No, especially since somebody went to the trouble of making it for us.
Exactly. And as a canner myself, I can go ahead and tell you some of these items, they take a long time, so they can be very much a labor of love. So if you receive a canned gift from somebody, they really like you. But you want to make sure that they're doing a couple of things. So like if you receive a canned gift from somebody, one of the things you can ask them is, oh, these look beautiful. What are they? What recipe did you use? So for example, I have on here, these are my pears. And you can see right here, I have where it's got that they are Asian pears. Unfortunately, they weren't grown in South Carolina, but I can try next year. And they also have the date, which is 24, which was the year that they were canned. So that lets you know, because again, for canned goods, you really don't want to eat them longer than 2 years. That's how long they can last in your pantry. But so you want to make sure that you've got what they are. You want to make sure that they look nice, that they're pretty, and that they've got the date that they were manufactured. So here's another example that you can see that I did this year. This is pomegranate jelly I canned this year myself. It was the first time trying pomegranate jelly. And you can see on here that I've got pomegranate jelly listed, what it is, as well as the date that I actually canned it. You'll also notice that I do not have the ring around it. So when you're storing canned goods, it's important for you not to store them with the ring. A couple of reasons why is because you can look through here, and you can see there's a gap right there. If you see anything floating on that gap, then you know you don't want to eat it.
Okay.
Okay. Same thing if you receive a gift and you take the ring off and you look on there and there's something floating on it, you may just want to say, thank you so much for thinking of me.
And then discard it.
And then discard it later.
Okay.
Same thing if you go to open it and there's some pressure behind it. Like you can try and open that now, but it's not coming out. If it does come off, you absolutely don't want to open. You don't want to try and eat it. Again, just say thank you and maybe discard it later because you don't want to make them feel bad. But if you do go to open it and you realize there's a lot of pressure behind it, right? So like you're opening it, and especially like for some of your pickled products, there could be some pressure behind it. You may want to just go ahead and discard it because that pressure could be a sign that it's not a safe product to eat.
How about these dehydrated items? Does it have to be treated any other way, or do you just cap it?
Absolutely. So anytime you're doing dehydrated items, which these are dehydrated apple chips right here.
Yes.
You want to make sure that you're dehydrating them in accordance with a dehydration recipe. Those same places that you can get for canning recipes, you can also go and get dehydration recipes as well. So you want to make sure that whenever you're storing dehydrated items, you want the best way to store them is in a glass jar. But you want to sterilize that jar first. So you want to wash it, you want to sterilize it. Now you'll see, we just talked about how you don't want to store your canned goods with the rings on it, but these have it on here. That's because these are dehydrated items. So dehydrated items really is a matter of they're not processed, so you can store them with the ring on there. Okay. And for the gift, what we kind of did is you can just kind of do a little cloth that you can do just to kind of make it pretty. And then you just kind of put the ring over it. So I'm going to take this off just so that you can kind of see what we did. So the ring's right here, and you can see that the cloth is actually on top. And then you just put the little cloth on there, and you can do, Now, would you possibly write under the cloth on the top when you did them? Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
So you would want to write on the on the lid so that they know when these were actually dehydrated and what they are.
But you said at your house they don't last long enough.
They do not last long in my house at all. Absolutely, especially with a 5-year-old. They don't last long at all. And then you just kind of put that on there. You can do a little tag around it. You could do something kind of like this one right here where it's got a little bow. Just anything along these lines just to kind of make it a little pretty, a little nice little gift for anybody. Or you could really go all out and do our gift basket like what we did here.
Whoa. Can I bring this over?
Of course, please do.
This just looks fascinating. I can't wait to see what all's in it.
So this was a little gift basket that, again, one of our Master Food Preserver volunteers put together. And you can see what she's done is she has actually made a basket where you can make your own homemade apple pie.
Come on.
So right here, she's got her apple pie filling for you. And it does look wonderful. It does. So she's got the apple pie filling for you right here. Your own. She's gone ahead and she bought this, but it is your own little apple pie tin. A graham cracker cup. And then the caramel drizzle to go on top.
Isn't that fun?
And a couple other little fun, neat things that you can put in here. And of course, a little serving.
That is really thoughtful.
And all this goes in here. And then of course, this is also for clear gel for it. To use with your apple pie filling. So all that in there can make a wonderful, really personal.
I think that is just the cat's meow. So you don't have to go running to the store, and you've got a wonderful dessert right there.
Absolutely.
What fun. Now, if you were going to give this, I've wrapped up some things because my children love to wrap. So I don't do as good a job as my girls do, but I think it's fun. And I thought it would be particularly fun if you were giving a homemade gift to have something really, where you'd gone to a lot of trouble, where you went to a lot of trouble too. Can this be stored on its side, or does it need to be stored right side up if you were just going to give it for a gift?
If you were giving it for a gift, you'd want to store it right side up.
Okay.
Because you don't want there to be anything to cause the lid to come off be inadvertently
so keep that in mind.
So you want to keep it stored up, right side up.
Okay.
So the basket the bag over here would be a great option for storing of your canned goods. If you're wanting to just kind of give just the canned good itself, you can easily just take some paper.
Yes.
You know,
that's pretty tissue paper.
It is. And just kind of wrap it around like this and just place it in your bag.
Okay. So if I had several of these, like this pomegranate jelly, I could set several of them in a box and
wrap it up.
And wrap it up.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. My mother used to make 100 or so jars of peach chutney for the church bazaar, and that's a lot to make. And these days, is there a way that when you're having something in that mass that you're distributing throughout the city or town, is there a way to have it checked with a little more safety in mind?
Absolutely. So what we can do is we have a program called Clemson Food to Market program,
Yes.
where we will actually test recipes to make sure that they're safe. The main things that we're looking for, especially for things like chutneys, is pH, because the pH is very important for any of your acidified foods, because that pH is a safety factor.
Yes.
And if the pH is not correct, and that can be something that can easily be messed up.
Or if you put a little too much water or something
Put a little
like that.
too much water or use a different type of ingredient, it can really affect that pH. And once that pH is affected, that safety measure is gone. So you can go to our Food to Market website and do a product testing, and they will test that product for you. And they'll look for things like pH. If you want to look for things like gluten, they'll do a gluten test for that as well.
Whoa.
Yes. So
do you send the item that you've made, or do you send the recipe that you're using?
you're going to send both, actually. You're going to send multiple jars of the item that you want tested, because they want to take from different batches.
Okay.
To make sure, because they're going to look at it.
Yeah.
But they're also going to look at your recipe as well, and they're going to want you to be as specific with your recipe as possible. If you're using a certain type of vinegar, you need to make sure you're telling them that you're using a certain type of vinegar. And I know a lot of people are like, especially because
Vinegar's
vinegar. But a lot of people, especially businesses that use this product, so if you're wanting to get a peach chutney or a barbecue sauce on the grocery store shelves and want to get it tested to make sure that it's safe, which I highly, highly recommend, you can have it tested through Clemson, and then they will tell you, yes, the pH is good, or if you're wanting to sell a gluten-free product, they will test it for you and say, yes, you have a gluten-free product. They will help you. And if, say, the peach chutney comes back and the pH is not quite there, they can help you actually reformulate so that it does get to that safety measure.
Okay. Gosh. Something that seems so simple does have a lot of research and science behind it in order to be sure that people are safe and a Christmas or holiday gift is indeed a gift.
Absolutely. But that's what the Food Systems and Safety team is here for. If you have any questions about any of your food products, we are here to help you in any way we can.
Well, thank you so much, and happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays. Thank you for having me.